Chapter 3. And so it begins.
Lydia.
It doesn't take long to find out the situation with Wes and Chloe. Lots of people saw the encounter. They also saw her leaving him and him storming off. Some more digging reveals that they've been on and off for a while and recently broke up. "If you go through with this, I will be forever grateful," Trisha says as we're getting ready at her place. I pull my shoulders back and study myself in the mirror. I'm dressed for war. In a short dress and high heels that show off my legs, I look almost tall for my 5 feet 3 inches. My blonde hair frames my face in soft curls and I'm loving it. I place a hand on my hip and quickly run it down the skirt, as if I'm adjusting it. I blink a few times and turn to my friends.
How do I look?
"Amazing," Trisha says. "He won't know what hit him." "This is going to be so much fun to watch," Prez says and grins. "I can't wait for the hockey boys to see one of their own fall." If it works. A swarm of butterflies stir in my stomach, and I reach for the vodka martini Prez made me. It's strong, and eases the feelings that are growing inside. "Do we know for sure he'll be at the party?" Trisha asks. I nod and grab my phone. His roommates are all going. Liam just posted a picture of them getting ready. I show her the photo. Wes is in the background, fixing his hair in a mirror. He's wearing a black t-shirt and jeans. The shirt shows off his muscles as he raises his arm. "Are we ready then?" Prez grabs her purse and slings it across her chest. We head out to the car. "You know what to do?" I ask. "Yes, we've been over this." Prez rolls her eyes and gets in the driver's seat. "Just make sure you get him there." The party is already going strong when we arrive. I step inside, into the cocoon of music and the smell of stale beer and body spray. It's a warm night and the windows are open. A breeze is carrying in scented smoke from the vapors. I relax. This is familiar. This is where I thrive. Someone gets me a drink and I dance. I'm interrupted by Trisha gesturing strangely at me, trying to be discreet and failing miserably. I follow her frantic waving and spot the hockey players. As usual, they're standing in a group. I roll my eyes and put our plan into action. Laughing as if Trisha said something funny, I head straight for the group. Just as I'm about to pass them by, I stumble. My hand reaches out to keep me from falling. It lands on a rock-hard chest just as Wes' hands grab my waist. I forget how to breathe. His hands burn through the fabric of my dress and the smell of him is adding to my intoxication, making my head spin. He smells of citrus fruits but more. There's a deeper scent underneath. Sandalwood. Amber. For a second, I get lost in it. When I finally raise my eyes, he's staring down at me. Our eyes meet, and I want to swim in the pools of caramel. With a blink, I remember myself and look at his jawline instead. It's hard and strong. "I'm so sorry," I say and push away from him. "Not a problem." He takes his hands off me and as I walk away, I wonder when my heart started beating so fast. I push past a group of sorority girls and head into the kitchen. My head is still swimming, so I grab some water. I need to keep my wits about me tonight. I wait by the table of drinks, where the music isn't quite as loud. "Have I seen you here before?" I smile in triumph at the question. Before I turn to face him, I put on a neutral expression. "I've seen you," I say. At that, he looks just as cocky as I imagined he would. "Are you a hockey fan?" "I love it." Not quite true. I like hockey. Hockey players I have mixed feelings about. Mostly negative. But tonight, I'm the biggest puck bunny to ever cross this man's path. "Really?" He relaxes ever so slightly and smiles, and I know I've got him hooked. "I love going to games." "Have you seen me play?" "Of course." I look up at him under my eyelashes. "You're very good." "What's your name, babe?"
Lydia. Lydia.
The way he tastes my names gives me goosebumps.
It's nice to meet you, Lydia.
I'm Wes. Do you have any plans after this? I ask and gesture to the party around us. Is there something you would want to do? I smile up at him. There is. He leans in closer. And what might that be? I'm close enough to inhale that heady scent again, and I'm glad I stopped at 2 drinks. Have you ever done it on the ice at the den? He looks at me for a while, then he laughs. I think it might get a bit cold. Locker room? With the smell of sweaty dudes surrounding you? I pout. You know, you're really killing my fantasies here. I'm sorry, babe. How about at my place? Don't you live with a bunch of other guys? Yeah, is that a problem? I wrinkle my nose. I was really hoping to get more familiar with the ice. I can't really take you there. It's off limits this late. But you know how to get in. Yeah, he hesitates. I take a step closer and realize how tall he is. I place a finger at the opening to his jeans pocket and pull him gently toward me. You think I'm silly, don't you? I bite my lip and look up. He quickly shifts his gaze from my cleavage to my face and shakes his head. I don't think that. I've just always had this fantasy. I take a moment to inhale him. Yeah. I keep my voice low so he has to lean in close to hear me. When I watch a game, I keep thinking what it would be like to be on the ice. With all the people gone. Just me and you. He swallows. Then what? I shrug. Lots of things. Sometimes I wonder what it would sound like to. I glance up at him. To scream in an empty stadium. Would it echo? He's blinking at me. Maybe you could make me scream? I suggest innocently. He clears his throat. Sure. Let me just. 1 minute. Don't move. I smile and take a sip of water as he hurries away. I was banking on him being able to get me onto the ice, and it looks like I was right. In less than half a minute, he's back. Let's go. He heads for the door and I follow him. As we pass the dance floor, he reaches a hand back. I take it without hesitation, and he squeezes my fingers. We make it out of the house, and he takes me to a car. A silver something or other that looks shiny and new. He opens the door, and I hesitate and look up at him. I haven't been drinking, he says. I'm the designated driver tonight. I get in. Chapter 4. The Prank.
Lydia.
I can barely believe my luck as we arrive at the den. It's the pride and joy of UNI. The hockey boys get all the perks, including this multi-million-dollar stadium. To be fair, they make it available to others, including the public. I push the envious thoughts aside and try to ignore that most students here are from families who could probably buy a stadium of their own if they wanted to. Is this the players' entrance? I ask as he parks the car near one of the back doors. He smiles at me. Come on, we need to be quick. If anyone asks, we're just here to pick up a book I forgot. I get out of the car and hide my smile as he walks up to the door. Before I enter, I glance around the parking lot until I spot a familiar car. I've never been in this part of the den before, I say as I step inside. We're in a hallway surrounded by pictures of former teams. All of them were taken on the ice in full gear. Everyone is smiling. The coaches' area is that way. Wes points to a few doors. This way to the locker rooms. I follow him down the corridor, still surrounded by team photos. A large built-in trophy case takes up part of the wall ahead. There's so much pride in this corridor. I can see how walking past all these remembrances of the past would encourage the players to do their best. Do you want to see it? I remember where I am and smile. He's talking about the locker rooms. I'd rather see the ice. I step closer and let the tip of my finger glide under his t-shirt. His stomach muscles are hard and smooth. He gasps and grabs my arms. He lowers his head, and for a distractingly confusing moment, all I can do is watch as his lips draw closer. What about in the stands? I whisper just before we kiss. He wrinkles his brows and pulls back a bit. There has to be ice, huh? I give him a cheeky smile and keep walking. Is it this way? He follows me down the corridor, and I struggle to hear anything over the beating of my heart.
Over here.
I wait and let him pass me by. He opens a door and the air changes. It's colder here and I shiver slightly. The ice lays in front of us untouched, ready for the next game. Or practice. I take a deep breath and rub my bare arms. Come on. Wes puts an arm around me, and I almost melt into his warmth as he leads me up the steps and into the stands. It's so quiet. I fight the urge to whisper. I've never seen the den so empty. I love how it's almost like two different places, he says. As we walk up the steps, I feel the time pressure. I stop and have to catch my breath as he looks down at me. How cold are you? I barely recognize my voice. It's low and sultry.
With you around?
Not very, he says.
Good.
I walk up so I'm a step above him, and start lifting his shirt over his head. He laughs a little and helps me get it off completely. He stares at me, as if he's about to devour me. I toss the shirt as far as I can between the seats. My eyes drift to his chest and I reach out and touch his muscles. Each breath is heavy. We move closer to each other. Fuck me, Wes says. You are so hot. He leans in and covers my mouth with his.
And I float.
His lips are soft and eager, and they're robbing me of every thought in my head. I can't resist. I let my tongue slip out to taste him. He opens eagerly for me and our tongues dance. His hands squeeze my waist to pull me closer and I never wanted to stop. Everything about the kiss is overwhelming. The scent of him that surrounds me, his hands keeping me near as if he needs me, the taste of him. The taste of forgetting and remembering. It's the taste of summer days in the rain. And I want more. 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 It's him that pulls away to stare at me. His eyes are dark and full of surprise. I blink and the cold from the ice finds my scorching body and brings me back. Before I can forget, I reach out and pull at his pants. I struggle with the button, and he strokes a strand of my hair out of my face. Is this really? He starts, but I interrupt him. Don't talk. Not now. Because I can't think. I can't think, and I need to do what I promised. I get his jeans open and pull them down. He steps out of his shoes and stands in front of me with only his boxers on. His tinted boxers. I try not to stare, but I can't help it. He wants me. And he's doing nothing to hide it. Your turn, he says in a deep voice and puts his hands on my thighs below my skirt. Slowly, with a half smile on his lips, he pushes the dress up inch by inch. The touch of his fingers makes something clench in my stomach, and I inhale deeply. I meet his eyes just as something moves down by the ice. It's time. Over his shoulder, I can see when it happens. The two men come out onto the ice and scan the stands. You there. Wes jumps and turns. I dive behind the seats and hide, taking his pants with me. Who is that? Comes the coach's angry voice. Do you think this is some kind of playground? I peek out between the seats. Trisha and Prez have followed the two men in. I curse under my breath. They were supposed to stay outside.
Porter.
Is that you? His face has shifted from mortified surprise to seething. I can tell the exact moment when he realizes what I've done. He spots my friends, and the look he gives me promises a hell to come. Coach, I can explain. Not only do I have to get out of bed in the middle of the night because someone has broken into the den, but now I find it's one of my own players. You know the rules, Porter. I'm going to have to report this, the security guard says. And why is he naked? I guess the two men, combined with the chilly temperature, have done their thing, because there is no more sign of Wes' arousal. I'm almost disappointed it's gone. Get down here right this instant, the coach shouts. And put some clothes on. I back away from him when he takes a step toward me, but he's faster. In a swift move, Wes has my arm. There is nothing tender about the way he's holding me, pulling me up. You probably need to report her as well, he says and turns to the men by the ice. You brought someone in here with you? Whatever Wes was trying to do by revealing me, it has not made his coach any happier. Let go of me. I yank my arm from his grip. Asshole, I mutter under my breath. You set me up, he seethes. The coach looks like he's about to explode. I don't have time for this. Get dressed and get down here. Both of you. He wipes his hand over his face. At least now I know why you don't have any clothes on. I decide to face the firing squad head on. As I pass Wes, I kick his shoe away. He deserves to be crawling about trying to find his clothes. I walk down the steps to the waiting men and plaster on a smile. I'm so sorry, I say. I didn't know we weren't allowed to be here. Wes told me it was all right. He said there would be no problem. There's a problem, is all the coach says. Yeah, the security guard glances back at the coach and then at me. You're not really allowed to be here at night. But if you didn't know, then maybe it won't be so bad. I smile at him, grateful that he at least is friendly. Meanwhile, Wes has put on his pants and shirt. It is too late for this bullshit. The coach seems to be praying to some higher power to make all of this disappear. What's your name? The way he stares at me makes my mouth dry. Lydia, I say.
Lydia what?
Lydia Bridges. And I take it you're a student here as well. I nod.
Yes, sir.
Fine. You need to get out of here now so Kevin can lock up, and I expect both of you on Monday morning in the dean's office. 9 sharp. There's no arguing with him. He's used to commandeering an entire hockey team, and you can tell. So I nod and move past him to where Trisha and Prez are giggling. As for you, the coach turns to Wes, what the hell were you thinking? I can't resist giving him a little smile and a wave, as Kevin, the security guard, ushers us out. What the hell was that? I ask when we're in Prez's car. You were supposed to wait outside. We saw an opportunity and took it, Prez shrugs, as if she didn't just get me into trouble. I was supposed to sneak away without anyone seeing. But this was so much more fun, Prez says. Did you see his face? She laughs. It was perfect. I have to admit it was hilarious, and soon we're laughing. It's still early, so instead of heading home, we decide to hit a club. Trisha and Prez laugh and describe how they got the coach there, and how worried they were that they wouldn't find us. I smile, but I'm not caught up in the evening's events like they are. My mind goes back to Wes' hands as they brushed up my thighs. How firm and gentle they were as they drew nearer to my core. I shake my head and realize my hand is resting on the scar. A few more inches and his hand would have been there. I grip the seatbelt firmly as Prez makes a turn. She finds a parking spot and I can't wait to forget. Music and alcohol, that's what I need. I plaster on a smile and hurry after my friends into our favorite club. Wes doesn't matter. After Monday, I never have to see him again.